This is Pastor Kathy, and I am YouTubing today to be with you. Our message today is called Stuck Between a Rock and a Hard Place, and this will be part 1 of a part 2 series. Our scripture reference for today is Exodus 17, 1 through 7. What does it mean to know God as our rock? It's usually not in the smooth areas of our lives when we come to know God in this way, but in the rocky places of our lives. Sometimes our circumstances make us feel like we are stuck between a rock and a hard place. But I'm hoping through the message today that our spiritual ears and eyes will be open to the choices that we do have when we feel like we are stuck in such a hard place in our lives and don't really see God at work where we are. The Old Testament gives us some wonderful images that tell us a lot about the character of God. When we find that we are going through tough times or when we're feeling discouraged, these images are great reminders of God's power and God's hope at work on our behalf. And that is the good news that I want to bring you for today. First, I'm going to read a story that comes from Exodus 17, 1 through 7, which is called Water from the Rock. The whole Israelite community set out from the desert of Sin, traveling from a place to a place as the Lord commanded. They camped at Rephidim, but there was no water for the people to drink. So they quarreled with Moses and said, "Give us water to drink." And Moses replied, "Why do you quarrel with me? Why do you put the Lord to the test?" But the people were thirsty for water there, and they grumbled against Moses. They said, "Why did you bring us up out of Egypt to make us and our children and our livestock die of thirst?" And then Moses cried out to the Lord, "What am I to do with these people? They are almost ready to stone me." And the Lord answered Moses, "Walk on ahead of the people. Take with you some of the elders of Israel, and take in your hand the staff with which you struck the Nile, and go. I will stand there before you by the rock of Horeb. Strike the rock, and water will come out of it for the people to drink." So Moses did this in the sight of the elders of Israel, and he called the place Massah and Meribah, because the Israelites quarreled, and because they tested the Lord, saying, "Is the Lord among us or not?" Here we find that God's people are quarreling, complaining, grumbling, and being very demanding. What are the circumstances in our own lives that cause us to act in the same way? Because the people were so unhappy and so thirsty, they were ready to stone Moses. They were ready to use stones to kill the very person that God directly spoke to and used to deliver them in so many situations before. The people were showing their impatience with God. How many times in our own impatience are we ready to hurl stones at people through our words, through our actions, or even our attitudes? God, in His transforming power, not only provided the water to quench the thirst of the people, but provided what they needed from an unexpected source, a rock. It was a matter of life and death for Moses to trust and have enough faith that in his obedience to God, striking a rock would bring forth living water. God said He would stand by the rock of Horeb So in Moses' act of obedience, God was present. God was with him. God reminds us that from unexpected places in our lives, God can provide living water to quench the thirst of our spirits. Even the hardest places in our lives are not difficult for God. If we feel stuck between a rock and a hard place, we can choose between God as our rock or staying in the hard place of this world.